Hello and welcome to another Talking To episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by
Hayden.
And today we're going to be talking about the TMNT 2003 Season 1 Episode 25, The Search for Splinter Part 1. So what do you think about this episode briefly?
Well, briefly, this episode was very interesting, very interesting, because I kind of discovered something within this episode. Like, we have, like, potentially for new characters and organizations coming into the fold now, which is really interesting. And to keep it short, I think it may be some old enemies from the past, or something that we've reviewed in the past. But yeah, I don't want to say it now because I'm going to say it when we get to that scene within the episode today. But it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I have to say that this episode has some really great moments, specifically looking at the Casey scene, and I do think that the mystery that they're building up to for the next episode is really great. Okay, so let's start the episode off. So first start off with the turtles, basically going around New York City trying to find Splinter, and they're using all different kind of vehicles. We've got the glider, we've got April in the bow shell, we've got Mikey in the sewer sled thing, Raph on his bike, looking over all of New York City, and we don't find Splinter. What do you think about that scene?
It was kind of cool to see all the people. Sorry, let me say that again. It was really cool to see the turtles going back to the old scenes in past episodes. For instance, like the homeless camp that Raph went to, the garbage dump that April visited and couldn't find Splinter, sadly. But it was just really cool to see the turtles just going back over old places that they have visited in past episodes to see if Master Splinter went back to them, which was really cool to see. And I really did enjoy the use of the different tools that Donnie has created being used from past episodes to help look for Master Splinter, such as the hang glider or the turtle glider or whatever the name is, and of course the night vision goggles that Donnie was using. And it was just really cool to see that they're utilizing past assets or equipment to help look for their master. And I just love the small little things, like they're using past stuff that they've made and used, and they're now using it now in this episode to keep it more relevant and frequent, which I just really love.
Yeah, I would say that I did really enjoy the nice variety of different locations, vehicles, stuff that we've already seen before. And it's like really just like great to like reuse them all again. And like even though it's like a little minor scene, but it's just like a little great one just to sort of like look back on the season in a way, and it just works really nicely. The one thing which I will say that did feel a little bit wrong here was the fact that this, I don't know if it was just me, but do you feel like they're sort of like rushing this story where basically the Turtles are going after Splinter, and now basically in this episode, basically they searched everywhere and now they're looking everywhere again? So it feels like I don't know, it feels like there like should have been a lot more episodes for this story arc to like really build up and develop. And I don't know, it feels like they could have a lot more episodes like looking for Splinter. Or is that just me?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were gonna have a repeat of this episode from last week's episode. I thought it was gonna be a repeat of that because it was the turtles in the lair again. Raph's getting annoyed that he can't find his master, and it just gave me the vibes of, oh, this is going to be a repeat of what we just had, which I wasn't looking forward to. And lucky enough, it wasn't a repeat, and it was something different. Otherwise, I don't think I would have enjoyed this episode as much. But yeah, I do get where you're coming from with that, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's almost like the case of like the Monster Hunter episode, where basically it's like a really good story, but just rush like the more important stuff which they could divert and build up to. And I mean, I will say this: I do think that like the pacing which they're going for this episode in the story does work, and when you do see what they do with the following episodes after this one, it does make sense why they do it for here. But at the same time, I feel so that they could have handled it like so much better. But then we do get to a really amazing scene. We do get to see Raph chase down a robber. He's going through the streets, going up buildings, going through he's going through an explosion, and then he catches up to the robber and stops the car. What do you think about that scene?
Well, that scene was very unexpected. I get the scene of the carjacking and the pursuit, but then of course when the carjacker sets alight a gas station in the middle of downtown and just causes absolute chaos and havoc, I thought, what have I just watched? We were going from like a carjacking and then a pursuit to then downtown engulfed in flames, and I'm like, oh my god, that has just gone real quick. And I'm like, I'm still trying to process what happened. It's like Raph is. It was just crazy. Like, it was unexpected, but it was a good unexpected. Like, okay, this episode's going to be a repeat, but then of course it's not, because then we got explosions, carjackings, pursuits. It was just really unexpected, and it was really cool how they did it. And I really do like how they got the explosions and the flames, because flames and explosions are really hard to draw. And how they managed to do that, I do not know. And I just really do enjoy how they managed to get the fire to work and how it interacted with its environment. And it was just really cool to see.
Yeah, I have to say that, like, for this bit, I really enjoyed the chase. I thought it was amazing. My favourite part from this chase scene was where he actually went into the building, going up the stairs and crashing out of it. He really gave me a little Batman vibes. I absolutely loved it. But with the explosion, I enjoyed it, but I don't know, it feels like a little bit weird and just a bit like try to make it a bit more flashy and a bit more of a spectacle, which I do think it worked, but at the same time I do think that maybe they tried a little bit too hard with it. It's felt a bit off, I would say. Just, I don't know. Also, I do feel also maybe a little bit unrealistic just how like fast the explosion happened, but it is what it is. And so yeah. So after that, the Turtles do decide basically it's a good idea to try and get the Guardians involved with this, because they may have like something to do with Splinter's sort of mystery, and basically they set up a Shredder puppet, and the Guardians license it. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I thought the Shredder was back. I'm like, oh my god, not again. How is the Shredder still alive after that episode? Like, come on. We're having the Shredder back again. I'm like, oh my gosh, the Shredder's back again. Like, come on, he's not dead. How is he not dead? But luckily enough, it was just a dummy, and crisis averted. But yeah, it was really weird to see the Guardians back again after they mysteriously disappeared from the last episode that we had, and of course, it was really interesting as well that the Turtles would actually plant a tracking device on the Guardian's blade, because initially I thought the Guardians were on the Turtle side. They were allies, they said. So I was really weirded out by the fact that they didn't trust the Guardians entirely themselves, and this whole deception tactic, no one really knows the true intentions of which side, and they're all going off of blind faith here. So it was just really interesting to see that in action, just to see how the Turtles were thinking and to see how the Guardians were thinking. Like, the Guardians have definitely got something to hide. For the amount of like streets the Guardian took heading back to TCRI and his main headquarters, it was very deceptive. And of course, I think he knew he was being followed, but he didn't know who was following him. So he was trying to knock them off track or lose them. But yeah, it was just really cool to see that back in action.
Yeah, I have to say that with the Shredder bit, I thought it was cool, but also at the same time, with this happening in like the last episode with the Splinter garbage bit, I'd have to wonder, how do people keep falling for this? I can understand with Ras one, because that one was like him on a moving bus. But this one, the Guardian was like it wasn't really that far away from the Shredder or the Shredder puppet thing. So I don't understand how he falled for it, but it is what it is. And then even when like the Turtles are talking to the Guardian, how did he not see the tracker? Because it's like a bright green turtle shell on the blade. I don't understand how we didn't see it. So yeah, but with the guardian bit, like your mystery bit, I'm like rather interested in like to hear like what like all your theories about it, because it's a whole episode with how they build a thing up with everything in TSRI stuff and all that. I'm really interested to hear what all your theories are with that. So yeah, after that, the Turtles do eventually go off and find out that the Guardian has gone on into this office building, and when they do send in a little robot, they do notice a TCRI. So, okay. So with this bit, what did you what was going through your mind when you like first saw that? Because I know like with the 2012 show we had TCRI building there, so I'm really interested to hear what you say about this bit.
The TCRI, immediately what went through my head was, oh my gosh, they're introducing the Krang.
Ooh. You may be on something, you may not be.
And immediately I thought, oh my gosh, I already know who the TCRI is, and I already have prior knowledge to who this company and this organization is from the 2012 series that we did. And I was thinking, okay, so they are the creators of the vial of ooze that the turtles got infected or mutated by when they were just little turtles. And I'm thinking to myself, like, the TCRI are now involved. We've got the Krang potentially getting involved here, and it was really interesting because I was thinking, oh my gosh, we get to see the Krang. And immediately I thought, oh no, we get to see the Krang.
Okay.
And if you guys who are listening to this podcast right now, and if you've been long-time fans of this podcast, you would probably already know that I am not the greatest fan of the Krang, especially the 2012 version, as I could not get over their annoying voice box. Through countless episodes, the annoyance of their voice was just so annoying. But yeah, and I just thinking there was a good side to it and a bad side. It's good that we get to see the Krang again, but it was bad that we are seeing the Krang again because I can't listen to their annoying voices for that long.
Okay, so do you think the Krang are going to appear in the next episode then?
I think that is highly likely that we get to see the Krang for the first time. And of course, it's going to be very interesting because I've not seen the Krang except for the Krang in the 2012 series. So it's going to be very interesting to find out what they look like in this series, or whether they're similar to the Krang, or whether they have that annoying voice or not. But that's all up for next week's episode. So that's something to look forward to.
Okay. So yeah. So also going going a bit more into that scene. We do have the Tollbot looking around TSRI, finding out some information about the building. What do you think about that scene?
I'm not gonna lie. The little turtle bot, I found it to be a bit cute. Like, it was so tiny, and it was like a little diddy turtle walking around the place. And I'm not gonna lie, this is one of my picky bits that I'm gonna get out this episode. How did no one see it? Like, it's bright green. Like, how could no one see that it was a bright green robo turtle walking around the premises? Like, come on, like you said with the tracker, it was bright green. How did no one notice?
Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy how they are building up the mystery about TSRI and stuff like that. I'm particularly like to get to explore it a little bit. But like, yeah, I did have the same problem as you with like, how did no one see it? But I do understand for like the story purposes, they're not supposed to, like, no one's supposed to see it and all that. But I don't know, it just comes off as a bit unrealistic, and I know like it's a kids' TV show, so we can't go into it too much. But at the same time, we are who we are, and we are going to complain just because. So yeah. Okay, so in the next scene, we do get to see the Turtles somehow find the blueprints of TSRI and also set up all the plans for basically going to TSRI, and they basically again able to go in for security stuff, and getting Casey to do a distraction. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I didn't really have much to say about the planning scene where they found the blueprints as such, but I really did like how I knew that they were going to bring Casey involved with this so-called distraction, and because I was thinking, who better to make a distraction than Casey? Like, he's your guy. Like, come on. Everyone knew it was going to be Casey.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean... Yeah.
Oh, sorry. All I was going to say was, like, who else but Casey? He's your guy.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that having his his background music as he enters, just amazing, and how April reacted. It's just Casey. I think that's all I really got to say about it. It's just Casey.
It's just Casey, you know. Casey's Casey at the end of the day.
Yeah, but in saying that, I want to talk about Casey's distraction. Do you have anything to say about that scene? Because I think it's one
priceless.
of the best scenes.
That scene was priceless, and I really, really did enjoy Casey just trashing up the joint. Like he comes in with a broken toaster, and he's got crayon written on it, and he's saying, "This is broken, I need a new one," like a proper Karen asking to see the manager. Like, that was like a proper Karen moment. But this Karen moment was set up to the extreme levels of like actual destruction of property and almost hurting someone, and it was just so funny just to see him go like absolutely lose it on like the guards and just destroying everything that he sees and touches, which was just really funny to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has to be one of the like best scenes from the episode. It might be one of the best scenes from the whole show overall. I just think it is just so amazing how Casey just goes in, and yeah, rightfully so, he is like a Karen in a way, and just starts beating everything up, saying how he wants death with etiquette. It's just, again, how do you explain this other than it's Casey? And oh my god, it's just so amazing. It just works so well, and I love it. I really wish we could talk about it a lot more, but I don't really know what else to really say about it. It's just the best bit about the episode, really. So yeah, and then also while talking about the stuff inside TSRI, we'd also have April O'Neil go inside of the like security room, and she's trying to like turn off all the alarms and stuff like that with like alien technology and stuff like that. What do you think about that scene? Because I've got a feeling like that probably like set off like a few theory bells in your head.
Yes, that actually did as well. When April walked into the security room and immediately saw that the room was completely different to the schematics, I thought, okay, this is definitely Krang territory we're entering right now. This is all Krang technology. We've got test tubes, we've got things sticking out the wall. Like, this is definitely some sort of Krang territory we're entering right now. And it was just really weird just to see that this is no ordinary office building. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, this could be potentially like an alien Krang ship in disguise as an office building within New York City. And that's just a random theory. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I would like it to be true, because then I'm right for once.
Yeah, I mean, with this scene, I did really enjoy it because one got to get to see April just being useful and not just, you know, being like the reason why Turtles were going out on a mission. And I do really enjoy that she's part of the like mission and being useful and helpful. I did find that like really great and a really great use of a character. I mean, also like all the alien technology. Again, I think like with some of the other past episodes I've been talking about, like especially like the Notes from the Underground and also the Silver Century episode, where it's just like expanding this universe and everything like that, which I do think was absolutely great. With I mean this one again, like all the incarnate technology, like showing that there's all forms of life in this universe, is like really great. And also, I don't know, I feel also that it does it in like a really great and natural way. It's like the 2012 show that just like have it straight in your face all the time. This one, it's like gradually building up to it and stuff like that. And I do think that's like really great and all that. And But I'm still like really surprised with like all your theories about all the Krang stuff. So yeah, okay, so then for the next scene we do get to see the turtles trying to break in. We do get to see Donnie has a bird puppet while Leo takes a picture. What do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I thought Donnie actually grabbed a pigeon off the roof and started to wave it in front of the camera. I thought it was an actual pigeon. And I was thinking, how the hell did Donnie manage to grab a pigeon? Like, they are very fast, and if anyone's tried ever doing it before, I don't know if they have or not, but yeah, just they are very fast, and you cannot catch them.
Okay, so yeah, I mean with that scene, I found it really interesting for a variety of different reasons. One, Donnie has a bird or like a pigeon puppet, and I'm very surprised that one, he has that, and two, he sort of knows how to use it in a really convincing way. I was really surprised by that. That was a really interesting scene. But then like, the other thing that like really got me that was like really surprising was the fact that Leo took a picture of the city and he glued onto the security camera, and that somehow tricked them, and it worked. It's amazing how it worked. That's all I really got to say about that. So yeah, and then next thing we do get to see Rak kicks off the vent and finds out that there's nothing there. And did that self any like sort of theory bells in your head?
Yes, it really did. It only reinforced my theory of that this is like a Krang alien ship, and they've just covered it up with some like random air vents, some windows to make it look like an office within New York. But actually, it's a Krang ship, and it just kept reinforcing the idea like this is definitely Krang territory. And I'm going on this idea that may be completely wrong, but I got no other idea of who this organization or what this thing actually is except for the Krang.
Okay. Okay, so then in the next bit we do get to see the turtles climb down the building, and we do get to see a hologram on one of the windows, and Mikey puts his head in, and a sort of like energy blast comes out and it almost hits Mikey, but Donnie and Mikey fall to their death. So what do you think about that scene?
To be honest, I was a bit confused with like the air vent as a window. It was really cool that it was a hologram, but at first I was like, there's nothing there. Like as the audience, you're thinking to yourself, it's just a window, there's nothing there. And of course, until Mikey gullibly puts his head through it, expecting like, oh, let me just stick my head through this mysterious hologram that could lead to like an internal death trap, upon which it does. Yeah, it was just really cool to see the inside of this like air vent of the Krang, or whatever it is that they're in right now. But yeah, it was really confusing as well. Like, this energy blast comes out the window, or hologram, whatever you want to call it, and of course Donnie and Mikey, well, potentially fall to their deaths. It was just really, really weird, and just, it was very different to what I usually see, and it just threw me off completely.
Yeah, I mean, with this scene, I don't really too much really say just because I know what's going to happen next and everything around this whole building, so it doesn't really have like that big like oh my god moment for me. But the one thing which I will say, which I did find quite interesting, was the fact that the event / hologram thing was a window, which you don't normally get to see that too often. Like, normally it's just like a wall or a door or something like that, but to actually have it like, as a window on a wall, I found it to be like really interesting, just to be like unique and different. And yeah, so that was it for this episode. But I'm really interested to hear what you say about like all your theories going into the next episode, because of like the Krang and stuff like that, with like what you're thinking. I'm just really curious about it all, just because I don't know, because I mean, like for me, I've watched the episode like so many times that I don't remember the first time actually watching this episode and having the oh my god, I can't believe that's going to happen moment. So I'm really interested to hear what you say about all this.
To be honest, this episode was very different, and I really wasn't expecting it at all. Due to the fact that the TCRI are involved now, that the turtles are going to find their maker or whatever they're going to find in there, hoping to find their master. It's just very, very weird, and I really don't know what to say about it. It's just very different and something upon which is the unknown to me, except for the fact that it's TCRI is involved, and that's pretty much it. Like, I don't really have too much to say, but for the next episode, however, I think I really do think that we're going to see some Krang, and we're going to know a lot more about the TCRI and their purpose within this series alone, and it's going to be very, very interesting, and I think we're going to have a lot to talk about then.
Okay, so also another question going off that, because in the 2012 version, as we was watching like that episode where Emma do get to see TCRI, I know for like with you at the time, you wasn't really like too surprised or really invested in the building whatsoever because you didn't really know anything about it or stuff like that. But like going into this episode and knowing all the stuff which you do know about TCRI, the region, the origins, how it all relates and stuff like that, would you say that like you're more invested now because you know the connection behind all of it?
You can say that, yeah. I feel more like I feel like I want to know more, like, because I already have prior knowledge to what TCRI is all about from the 2012 series. I know it's only brief information, like the TCRI is a huge cover-up for the Krang, and that they use weird experiments on animals and mutagen. Yeah, I am very interested to see where this goes, because I haven't seen any other series with the Krang in it, so it'll be interesting to find out how this series portrays and plays out the Krang with this universe, and it will be really interesting to find out what actually goes on.
Yeah, like this is sort of like one of the like plans I did have when come up with like the podcast idea of like doing like both series at once, just so like it can like help you have a good understanding of like things to come, and hopefully like this was like a really good example of like how just like how like in one series you're like and sort of wondering like what's gonna happen like certain things, and then like going to the next series like, oh my god, I can't believe it's that. Oh my god. So I do think that like this way it's sort of like serving its purpose now. Would you see? Would you like sort of agree with that now, or do you like still agree? Should we watch like one series all in one go, or what? Cause I'm quite interested to hear about that.
To be honest, I really don't know. Like, this is unknown territory, and it's going to be very interesting to figure out as the episodes go on, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens and what goes down, and yeah, it just is really interesting and is completely unknown, which makes it even more interesting.
Okay, so so moving on, don't do some comments now.
Yeah, let's do them. If we've talked about what we want to talk about in this episode.
Yeah. Oh, would you like to read some comments out?
Yeah, sure. This will be my first time reading some comments out.
Yay.
To be honest, I'm gonna give a heads up to everyone. I haven't done this before, and this is my first time reading out comments, so I do apologise in advance if I may butcher some people's names wrong. So bear with me, all right? First of all, we're doing the comments from Teddygaming Reviews YouTube channel, and for the comments for this episode, Maya has said, the Casey distraction will never not be funny to me, and if I'm remembering the right episode, that one scene where Donnie's controlling his tiny robot with everyone else trying to take a peek, also a personal highlight.
Yeah, I'd say that was one of the better funnier moments from this episode.
Yeah, definitely. The cute little turtle robot walking around. I don't know what about that, but I just found it very cute, to be honest.
Yeah. Still, yeah. I will say this: even though it is like somewhat cute, it still should have been spotted though.
Oh yeah, 100%. It was like bright green. You might as well put like a flashing beacon on it. Honestly, like how did people not see it? I do not know.
I'll still probably miss it.
Yeah, and of course we got another comment here from Hello Mellow 12. It was awesome. The mystery. It was awesome. The mystery. Yes, it was very awesome. Hello Mellow 12. It was very awesome, and I really did enjoy the mystery myself behind this. Just seeing what actually happens and developing a story that could actually be quite interesting, and to see where this story arc goes is very mysterious and very interesting. So I do agree with you on that one too.
Yeah, I would have to say that. I mean, it's a bit hard for me to really comment on because I know how the mystery plays out, but I would say that how they are building up with all the mystery, it does work really well. And I would say that, like, this show does like a really good job of like building up the mystery and stuff like that. And we did definitely get to see that a lot in the Notes from the Underground stuff. So I did think that was like really great that, like, even in this episode, we are still like there's like a lot we don't know about it. Okay, so on Reddit we got Silver Sentinel. Now with this comment, they have got some spoilery stuff in it, so I'm just going to do like a brief summary of what they said in the comments, and more or less asking basically the turtles and also the like guardians on the same team. So I'm quite interested to hear like what you say about that, because I already know the answer, but I'm interested to hear what you say about that.
Ooh, that is a very tough one, really. After this episode, I do have my doubts. I really do have my doubts whether they are on the same side or not. After the like confrontation. Yep. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that one. Sorry, that was really weird there. But yeah, after the Turtles and the Guardian met at the Foot Ninja headquarters of Shredder's former palace, I really did have my doubts, because I really did think that the Guardians and the Turtles were allies, as the Guardian has said before. Like, they are allies, they are brothers in arms, they can trust one another, they can fight alongside one another. But when the Guardian is confronted in this weird position, he gets really all weirded out, and that was just an alarm bell ringing. That was a red flag, in my opinion. Just to say, like, hold on a minute, what are you hiding from us? Like, why are you not telling us? You have all these resources. You know what's happening at all times. Surely you could lend the Turtles a position or a last known sighting, but completely shuts down when that question's answered. So I think that the Guardians are up to something, and they know where Master Splinter is, and I think that this is going to be the end of the relationship between the Guardians and the Turtles real quick.
Yeah. Okay, so on Facebook we've got Jamie Hunt. They put, I like when Donnie told them about Tsurai. Yeah, I feel like we sort of got that comment already. Laura Margie Rantnall, I know I said that wrong, so yeah, sorry. They put Casey Destruction will never not be hilarious. And yeah, I think it's got to be one of the top 10 scenes from like this season as well as the series overall. I think it has to be up there with the Yo Mama joke bit. Would you agree with that?
The Yo Mama joke. You're comparing it to a Yo Mama joke?
I would say that like it's up there with in terms of like the comedy, at the very least.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay, so Lisa Daniel Hollenby, they it was really interesting with their comments. Okay. So they commented, I wish I had time to go into all that I love about this episode. And then they did link to and then they did give me a link to an episode of the original cartoon and sort of made a comparison to it. Now the scene which they're talking about is a scene where Casey is basically ripping apart a park and throwing all around like the playground equipment at the Turtles, and it was almost identical in a way.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Okay, and another thing which I want to ask you about this, which I know that this is really gonna like, I want to like self like a few alarm bells in your head. So who do you think is a Krang in this universe?
Well, it's hard to say really, because when we first got introduced to the Guardians, and of course when the Guardian was reporting into his higher ups, let's say, and of course they're three human-looking people talking in weird sentences and of course weird timings. I really did thought they were like Krang at first. Like, okay, that's Krang, because who talks like that in real life? Like, no one finishes each other's sentences like that, and that immediately just set it off. But it is really hard to tell. Like, I didn't think the Guardians were like Krang, but I'm having my second doubts. But of course, when the security guards at TCRI, when their eyes lit up blue, I really thought, thinking like, oh my gosh, the Krang have infiltrated like human bodies. They control them, and they can be anyone in New York City. So at this point, I really don't know who's who. Like, who can we trust except the turtles? Because the Krang cannot replicate a turtle, a synth, or a turtle body to control. So the only people that we can trust are the turtles at this point. So yeah, that's really what I got to say. I don't know who to trust.
Okay, that's really interesting. Okay, so for trivia, this episode was based on issue number 4 of the original comics. I won't go into one bit of trivia because this spoils some bits. This is the first appearance of the TCRI building, which I must admit I do think is a little bit disappointing when you do look at 2012, which did have like the TCRI building in quite a few other episodes before it did first appear in that episode. So I will give the point to 2012 for and at least like building up in that sort of way. And then last bit of trivia is that April claimed to come from TMNT University, which I don't think I really need to explain that point. Did you understand it?
I thought I heard something like that. I was thinking, what? TMT University? Isn't that like... Because I just thought, okay, she made up a random university name. But now that you said it, I can't believe she actually said TMT University. Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle University. Like, I don't know whether that is like... I really didn't... I don't know what to say to that. That was just funny.
Okay, so for the... So for the cast, we do have April O'Neil voiced by Veronica Taylor, Casey Jones voiced by Mark Thompson, Donatello by Sam Riegel, Leonardo by Michael Sinterklaas, Michelangelo by Wayne Grayson, Raphael by Gregory Abbey. For some reason they have Splinter on this cast, but he's not in this one. We do have the Guardian, which voiced by Frederick B. Owens. We had those like three people voiced by Darren Dunstan, and we also had the reception person. I'm pretty sure he was voiced by Michael Sinterklaas, but it doesn't really say on this cast list, but I'm pretty sure it was him. Okay, so for next week's episode, I thought also that we should start off with who's going to be doing the talking bit, and I will give you a hint. It's one of the turtles.
Right. So we had Leo for this one. I'm thinking it may be... I really want to say, because Mikey and Donnie are currently falling to their deaths, I think it may be Raph.
Yay!
Oh my god, did I get it?
Yeah, you did it!
Oh my god!
For once.
I actually got it. That is... Okay, I take that as a win.
Okay, so what do you think is going to be happening in the next episode?
Next episode, I think Donnie and Mikey are going to be saved. I think that the Turtles are going to finally infiltrate the TCRI building and figure out what actually is going on and what their purpose is. And I think we're going to be introduced to the Krang as well.
Okay. Now, one final question, which I do think could be somewhat an interesting one. So, because next week's episode is the season finale, what do you think is going to be like the season cliffhanger?
I have no idea.
Well, I guess that's a good sign.
I really do not have a clue.
Okay, well that's interesting, and I won't say it's a bit of a good idea because you don't know what to expect. But yeah, next week's episode is going to be really interesting, and even though it feels over like this episode, even though I don't know, like with the podcast episode, this one feels a bit shorter, but I got a feeling for next week's episode, when we do go in and find out everything about what's inside the place, it's probably going to be like an hour long episode just because of all the stuff that you got to talk about.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be one of those kind of episodes that you're going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe I did this and this and this and that. You're going to be losing your mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, do you have anything else to say about this episode, or is it all done with this one?
I'm pretty much done with this episode, frankly. I think I've said what I've wanted to say for this episode. But yeah, I thought it was really good and very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I do think this episode was really great, and I think the mystery that I do set up was amazing, and just Casey just being Casey. That's all we got to say about it. Just yeah. But yeah, if you do want to get onto the podcast, you can leave a comment on the YouTube community tab. You can leave it on the Facebook pages, Reddit page. You can leave one on Anchor, either text message or voice message. But yeah, I've been your host Teddy,
and I've been Hayden,
and we'll see you all soon. Goodbye, yo. Well, bye.
Bye.